Hey everybody, welcome back. It's me, Teri Hunter. Today is December 7th, 2018, and I'm here with this week's Messages from Your Angels by Astrological Sign. I was supposed to be here yesterday, and it was raining cats and dogs, and my window sprung a leak, and then the internet went down. It was such a fun day here, and I won't even bother to tell you all about the construction. I know I've talked to you a lot about the hotel renovation, and that ended. And as soon as the hotel renovation ended, they started construction on the neighbor on this side, and they started reflooring or resurfacing the floor of my own building. So I want to ahead of time apologize if you hear jackhammers, saws, planes, and any other sort of erroneous noise. Okay, so I'm just going to jump in and, well, actually, let me start with this. Today is a new moon in Sagittarius. It was either the 6th or the 7th. I believe it's the 7th here in the United States. So that's going to be ushering in new energies. We also have Mars conjunct Neptune. What that means is Mars is the planet of action, the planet of war, the planet of initiation, the planet of assertiveness, of aggression in some ways, very kinetic, very quick moving energy, is standing next to Neptune. Neptune is a very fanciful energy. I think of Neptune energy sort of like water. You know, you pour water into a vessel and it takes on the shape of whatever that vessel is. Neptune can be a little bit erosive. Neptune can put rose-colored glasses on. We can see things from more fanciful way, a more sort of ignoring maybe some red flags. So Mars and Neptune are going to be conjunct for probably for the next couple of weeks, I would think. I don't really know how fast Mars moves. I think it's going to be two months in Pisces. So I just want to offer people the opportunity to really, when you're looking at things, new situations, new dynamics, to really kind of give it a fine-tooth comb in some respects. Kind of don't rush into something, I guess is what I want to say. Give yourself an opportunity to really observe the dynamics, the energies, the specifics of the deal. Okay, so let's go on to our astrological sign. Oh, and one more thing. Okay, guys, I always want to just remind you, check your rising sign first. That is the most influential. I'm a Libra sun, but I'm an Aries rising. I am ruled by Mars. Then I believe your moon. Your moon rules your emotions. It's how you feel about things. And then your sun sign. To me, those are the three most influential planets. They're all influential. They all work together. But when we're talking about weekly things, your rising, your moon, and then your sun. Okay, so let's go on to Aries. Let's see what Spirit has to say for Aries this week on this new moon. New moons have influence for up to 2 weeks until the next full moon. And frankly, for me, a new moon and a full moon kind of feels similar in that everything is a beginning, and without a beginning or without an ending, there is no new beginning. So when we see a new moon, sometimes something will usher out in order for the new energy to come in. All right, Aries, our first angel is Francesca. The second is Omega. The third is Chantal. And the fourth is Yvonne. Well, this is very interesting. So Francesca talks about visualizing what you want. When we visualize what we want, most of the time what we tend to do is get that first inspired thought, oh, I want to create a new business. And then we start to swirl in the dominant thought, oh, how will I do that? How will I get the backing I need? Where will the money come from? Francesca is really asking you to stand in the result of your vision. And I want to put emphasis on that. And I'm going to kind of jump to the last card, Yvonne, because Yvonne for me is a card of vulnerability, being vulnerable to the things I want. So often we tend to push on our dreams, like how will I make it happen? How will this happen? How will I pay this? Those are the types of things that will stop us, that will keep us from ever moving forward. So Omega offers us victory. Omega is in the opportunity or the obstacle. That victory is not coming like this week. It's victorious in your ability to stand in the vision of what you want for yourself. Because I have Chantal in the opportunity, in the angel's advice. Chantal is a straight up romance angel. She talks about a new romance coming into play, or the resurgence of a romance. So let me just go back here, because what I want to say for Aries, I don't know that I think that this is about romance right now. I think what Francesca is offering is saying, what do you want? Whether it be romance, a new job, a new house, a trip, I don't care what it is. Visualizing that, getting to the place where you can feel what that feels like, okay? Then that's where your victory is going to come in, because that's where you can sit in that energy, and then being vulnerable to knowing that it's just a matter of time, circumstance, the universe working in coordination with you. Many of the endeavors that Aries might have tried to push forward this year was challenging. Mars was retrograde for 2.5 months, I think, maybe even 3 months, most of the summer. That's their ruling planet. Again, Mars is the planet of action, initiation, bold movements. So there was a thwarting. And then with Mars being conjunct Neptune right now, it's kind of the same dynamic. So, about physical action, not so much. The victory comes in being able to stand in a faithful place of knowing that as I put forth my intentions and I can sit in the energy that says, yes, I can feel it, I can achieve it. So, this week is about being vulnerable to your dreams and your desires and stepping into that energy. Okay, let's go on to Taurus. All right, what's up for Taurus this week? All right. Our first angel is Rosetta. The second is Uriel. The third is Yvonne. And the final is Layla. Rosetta talks about having a way with working with children, and that your life path involves parenting, teaching, or again, working with children. As a collective, many of you may be parents, many of you may not. I see Rosetta as my inner child. And I feel like on some level this week that my Tauruses may be a little frustrated that some things that they wanted, things that they thought that they would achieve. Hi, Rachel. Good to see you. You may be a little frustrated. I have Archangel Uriel in the opportunity, the obstacle, and I have Yvonne in the angel's advice. Okay, so Archangel Uriel deals with frustration, anger, unforgiveness. Yvonne is asking me to be vulnerable to the bigger picture of what I want. And Layla is asking me to spend time in nature in direct relation to Rosetta to get back in touch with what I really want for myself from that childlike innocence. So let's just say for my Tauruses that you were potentially up for a position and somebody else won that position. You didn't get it. Rather than being angry and thinking that that dream has gone aside, I would like to task you with the idea of spirit saying, you know what, maybe that job wasn't exactly what you wanted. Maybe it sounded better, and or it wasn't going to offer the growth that you might have potentially thought in the beginning. So rather than being angry, it's about being vulnerable to a bigger idea that spirit is moving things around, and then allowing Layla and her energy while you're out in nature to confirm and to show you signs and omens that indeed you're moving along your path. You know, sometimes there are things that we want that if we get them, they just don't work out the way we think they're going to work out. And with the challenging dynamics of interviewing during a Mercury retrograde, starting a new relationship with Venus in retrograde or in the shadow period, or the moon being invisible right now, does not set fertile ground sometimes, or in this case, for those endeavors. So trusting that spirit is saying, we want you to have fertile ground. So allowing ourselves not to be impatient and to keep our eye on the prize. Okay, let's go on to Gemini. All right, Gemini, our first angel is Ray. The second is Grace and Antoinette. The third is Bridget. And the final one is Vanessa. You know, it's interesting to me because this whole Neptune-Mars conjunction, that's where they're sitting together. They're very close together. Feels like it's going to have an effect on everybody. Well, it will. But Gemini, this week doesn't look like it's a good week to necessarily move your story forward. This feels like a week of of planning and connecting with spirit, with your dreams and your desires. I have Ray in the foundational position. Ray talks about yoga and exercise being essential to your spiritual journey, and that can be very true. But if you look at the card, she's sitting in an Om meditative position, and she's connecting her power chakra up through her third eye, and then that's flanked by the heart chakra color, and then the throat chakra. This is very much, I think, a week of connecting with spirit about your dreams and your desires and what you want to facilitate, the support you're looking for, whatever the dynamics are, and then surrendering in some respects the results. Because this is, I don't feel any movement. Grace and Antoinette could represent an argument with another person, having compassion for another point of view. And then I have Bridget. Bridget's asking me to look deeper into a situation. And then I finally have Vanessa here asking me to make my decisions based on faith rather than fear. If indeed this week you get offered something that sounds too good to be true, or you feel like something's going to save your ass, don't move forward on it. Allow spirit to illuminate whether or not this opportunity is really what you're looking for. Because I get a very strong feeling for my Geminis that you may look before you leap. And if you do that, you may be in a big do over. So give yourself permission to connect with spirit about your bigger intentions, moving the fear out. Like that's where the innocence of a child comes in. You know, they can be Buzz Lightyear, they can go to the moon and back, and policemen and the president, everybody's wonderful, you know. We need to have a little more innocence like a child to spirit and then move faithfully that direction. All right, let's go on to our Cancers. All right, what's up for Cancer? So last week, I mentioned that the North and the South node, also known as Ketu and Rahu, these are karmic points from the moon. They're not actual planets. They have shifted the axis. They were on the Leo Aquarius axis, and now they're going to the Cancer Capricorn axis. So for the next 2.5 years, there will be opportunities for lots of shifting to go on. And that shifting is not necessarily about rugs being pulled out from underneath you, Cancer, as much as they could be the alignment of a lot of your dreams coming true. And then, you know, that overnight success that took 10 years in the making will start to show itself. So let's see what we have for this week. All right, Cancer, we have Ariel in the foundational position. We have Vanessa in the opportunity or the obstacle. We have Chantal in the angel's advice. And then we have Athena. Ariel is a card that talks about spiritual experiences are changing the way I view the world and how I move through the world. So I want to offer you this opportunity. Cancer, you're ruled by the moon. Today is a new moon. This would be a wonderful day for you to connect with spirit in a meditative place and allow spirit to, I want to say, fill you with their energy rather than trying to quiet your mind. I feel like I want to, I don't know, bathe in a spiritual bath, because I feel like there is a, I'm going to jump to the fourth position. I feel like I'm empowered by this and I'm renewed in some ways. For my Cancers, this connection to spirit, to source, to God, to whoever you believe in, the name really is not relevant. Love is a good way to put it. This will then anchor in the faith that you need to make the changes, the moves, the things that you want. Chantal and the angel's advice, there feels like for my Cancers, there is an opportunity for you to assert yourself in a loving manner, even deeper into the things that you want to experience in this life. And I feel like this is not necessarily have to do with relationships with other people. It has to do with relationships for yourself, what you want to experience. And in doing so, you feel a sense of power. And I mean that power in a way that sort of calms your mind. It starts to plug you in more to that moon energy that Cancer has, where you're trusting and being a receiver of information, of faith. Kind of like getting to a point. This is how I want to put for you, Cancer. This looks to me like a week where you start to really dig in deep and you go, you know what? It's not a matter of if it's going to happen. It's a matter of when. And I'm done. It's a when. And in doing so, that gives you like a little bit of air. And I feel like a sense of, I feel a renewed sense inside of myself of faith. Everything's going to work out just great. Okay, let's go on. We have our Leos next. Yay! Rachel, you're a Leo rising, I think, or at least a Leo moon. You've got Leo influence, so you should listen to Leo too. Alrighty. All right, my little lions, lionesses. Layla, Shanti, Crystal, and Rochelle. Well, this is lovely. Okay, so Layla is always my walking meditation, and I call it a walking meditation because it's not about keeping my head down. It's not about paying attention to anything but the skyline, the birds, the trees, the feel of the wind around me. It is spirit, it is God's, it's the angel's vessel for being able to communicate with you. You may catch a billboard that says something or walk by somebody that's having a conversation and you hear one little snippet of it and it triggers a thought in your mind because I feel like things are starting to shift for you and in a way that is bringing you the things that you want, Leo. Shanti is here saying there's more peace coming in. And then I have Crystal and the angel's advice saying have faith and hope because there's things coming that you can't see right now. You don't know what's being created out there in the world that will then help facilitate your dreams. Because here's Rochelle in the last position saying, this is as you honor and as you honor and follow the guidance of your heart. Prosperity is coming to you, but that prosperity is more than just money. It's harmonious wealth. It's where I'm literally thriving in my intimate body, my spiritual body, my mental body, my emotional body, my financial body, my professional body. It's like I look at Layla and I look at Rochelle, and it's as if they're saying to Leo, we got you. All you have to do is pay attention. All you have to do is pay attention and then relax and walk through the doors as we open them for you. I want to say this too. While this is a weekly spread for Leo, and I'm going to go back to the axis. You're coming off of the karmic axis. So yes, that will usher in more calm energy for you, less changes that you aren't expecting. But I also feel like there's going to be some things that you've been working on energetically, physically, that are going to start to show evidence. So I'm excited. Rochelle's my favorite angel. So that's really awesome. All right, let's go. I'm not supposed to say favorites, but when you follow your heart, there's nothing that feels better than that. And I really believe that all of these angels on some level ask us to follow our heart because that's where the beauty lies. All right, let's go on to Virgo. All right, my Virgos, what's up for you this week? All right. Our first angel is Fiona. The second is Merlina. The third is Xana. And the final is Francesca. Okay, my little Mercury ruled Virgos. This week is all about getting out of your head. Fiona is the angel that has her arms open and says, now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving that help. Merlina is saying that you're confused and indecisive because you don't have enough information. You need to do research, look deeper into the dynamic of what you're wanting. And then Xana is saying that you're being protected. And then and when I say protection, I don't mean that you're physically being protected. It's more spiritual protection. It's like trusting yourself. I want to say this for my Virgos because Francesca's in the final position asking you to visualize what you want. If you are endeavoring, and I'll use the example of a new job, there's more that you can't see on the horizon. I almost feel like Virgo, there is a part of your dynamic that is like, you're ruled by Mercury. So you're going to think a lot. You're also going to want to have this practical knowing of how this is going to play out. So if you've been in some sort of transition, Virgo, it's a surrendering. This is, to me, when Merlina's saying you're confused and indecisive, you don't have enough information, it doesn't really actually feel like research to me. It feels like I have, as a Virgo, put out to the universe that I want this dynamic in my professional life. I want this amount of money. I want this amount of freedom. I want this amount of creativity. Now, as I'm going through this process, I can't dumb down. I can't tell spirit that I want all these things and then say, but I'm afraid I won't get it. So let me do something safe. Because that's what I think Merlina is talking about, that confusion and indecision. And that's what Francesca's talking about, being able to visualize that if I if I can imagine it, and while there may be a road to getting there, I'm not saying it's like a light switch just because I want it, I get it. But I have to stand in a faithful enough energy long enough for the universe to get traction there. And that's where Virgo may feel a little challenged. But if you trust Xana here and you allow yourself to be just slightly indecisive or not to know everything right now, but to know how it feels once you achieve it, then spirit can start to put those dynamics into place. You know, it feels sometimes like I say the same thing every week, but it's because this is a formula in the universe. This is not, it's not magic, and it's not, some people are bestowed good lives and some people are bestowed bad lives. It's, yes, we all have our challenges, and some of us have a more dense path to our enlightenment, but we are all offered that. And when we pay attention to our energy, to how we're showing up, how we're participating in the vibration, because if we're sitting in fear and and it starts to get deeper and deeper and deeper inside of us, then we start to make our moves on that fear. And that's really not aligned to what the ultimate outcome is that we want as humans. So, our awareness of that is really why I feel like I say pretty much the same thing every week. Because as I've become aware of my fears, it is not in the absence of them, but in my bravery to move through them that I have known my greatest accomplishments. Okay, let's go on to Libra. See if we say something different for Libra. All right, my dear Libras, what is up for you this week on this new moon? Oops. All right. Our first angel is Isaiah. The second is Mystique. The third is Athena. And the final is Francesca. Okay, so Isaiah talks about having about it's a good time to give birth to new situations, new dynamics, new things in my life, and then I'm being guided and I'm being protected during these changes. Mystique, in my opportunity and my obstacle, says to keep charging ahead, to expect miraculous solutions to appear. Miracles to me are not magical. They are not, in fact, they're not even magical. They're alignment. You know, when I see a miracle, I'm aligned to the outcome that I want with such intensity and such depth that there is really no wiggle room. The universe must comply, because I have Athena in the angel's advice, and they're literally saying to Libra, lovingly assert yourself into your miracle and trust it. Here's Francesca saying negativity will block your progress. This is kind of where I want to go with this. I am a Libra sun, and I've been endeavoring a new project with a community this year, and it's not moved quickly for me. And yet I have this knowing, and I'm willing to flesh out or flush out, however you want to phrase it, my ideas more succinctly, more clearly. Instead of resisting the stall, the pause, I'm allowing it to work for me, and I'm allowing myself to also envision that the time that is apparently the pause that can be so frustrating in the time, there's things happening that are constructive in that time. So I really kind of want to say for this, my Libras, this giving birth to new ideas and new situations is not always about jumping into action. It can be about strategizing. It can be about contemplation and visualization, really getting down deep into the dynamics of what this new project births into the world. What does it feel like? What is its legacy that it leaves? And as you do that, this allows spirit to teach Libras two things. Number one, that as you put your ideas out into the universe and with the passion and the intensity, you will see the universe respond. more and more rapidly. And I know I kind of like a minute ago was talking about things take time, but time is relevant to our belief, to our willingness to stand in the unknown and visualize what we want. Okay, so overall, Libra, this is a time to give birth to those ideas that you want, to start to think into the new year about how you'd like 2019 to work for you. And I want to say this too for my Libras: be mindful of the duality of your thoughts. So if you're in the inspired thought, what is the percentage? Am I here 10%, 15%, 100%? Because it's the more percentage you are in that inspired thought, the easier it is for spirit to then open the doors, move things along, and then almost create natural steps forward. All right, let's go on to Scorpio. All right, my Scorpios. What is up for you this week? Pardon me, I'm going to take a quick sip of my tea. All right. Ooh. Wow. First card is Patience. The second is Azure. The third is Aurora. And the final is Rochelle. Well, this is lovely. So Scorpio, patience is a time, is a card that represents it's a time of learning, of studying. It's not about waiting. It's not about holding my breath. It's about assimilating the energies around me and the people and the dynamics. As you're sitting in your opportunity or your obstacle, saying your desired outcome will happen in the very near future. Aurora is in my angel's advice, saying you're flying high right now, which may threaten other people, but don't descend to their level. Stay where you are, because you will soon set an example for them. And then finally, I have Rochelle saying that as you honor and follow the guidance of your heart, prosperity is coming to you. I want to say this, Scorpio. I honestly feel like this week, there are things that are coming into play for you that you've been working towards, and they may feel like they've been stalled, hence patience. And when they come back around, they're going to come back around better than you anticipated. They'll either be more lucrative than you had thought they would be, or they'll offer you more autonomy, more creative input. But I feel like I feel like what the lesson is that patience offers is that sometimes, we get into such a place where we just want to see the manifestation. We just want to see validation that our ideas are right. And any good sauce takes some time on the stove for all those herbs to get, fully saturated inside that sauce. So trust that you've been doing good work, standing in the energy of what you're looking for. This feels very much like it's from a professional viewpoint for me for Scorpio this week. And know that you're, I want to say, dogged determination to stay where you are and stay in your lane is going to bring you exactly what you're looking for. And if not, it's going to be darn close, or you're going to be able to see that it's the impetus of what you're looking for. You're going to start to see the flow. Okay, let's go on to Sagittarius. This is your moon. This is your month. This is your year. Jupiter is in its natural sign. Expansion, higher knowledge, travel, foreign people, places, and things all come into play for Sagittarius this coming year. But let's see what's going on for the week. Okay. All right, Sagittarius, our first angel is Adriana. The second is Rochelle. The third is Serena. And the final is Maya. Okay, so Adriana talks about leading you towards the answers to your prayers, to your dreams, your thoughts, your intuitions. And, it's interesting because the card, on the face of the card, there's two very little children, and they have this almost awestruck look on their face as Adriana leads them. I feel like this is a little bit for Sagittarius about having an awestruck feeling, being excited, being anticipatory that good things are coming. I have Rochelle in the opportunity, the obstacle. Follow your dreams this year, Sagittarius. Not just this week, but this year. Take advantage of the expansion and of the opportunities that the benevolent planet, your ruling planet, offers you. I have Serena, the angel of abundance, here saying that the money you need, and to me, it's not just money; it's resources. So as you follow the guidance of what you want to be and do and birth into this world when you grow up, and I don't care if you're 90, spirit will start to provide those resources for you. They will start to, you'll see evidence of that. And I want to say this too because I have Maya in the final position, and I think what the most beautiful thing that this feels like when I look at this is that my Sagittarius has learned how to trust their energetic dynamic more and more and more. Jupiter rules angelic wisdom, divine guidance. So as you trust that, you learn what Adriana has to offer you is that we are working as individuals towards our goals, but we are also working in tandem and in coordination and in concert with not only the other human beings on this planet, but with all the energetic dynamics that are going on, not just angels and God and Jesus and Mother Mary, but stars and asteroids and all sorts of conditions. And as we give life to all of those things, provide opportunities, resources, obstacles, challenges that strengthen us, that hone our skills, that give us courage. This is all the things that Maya has to offer and Adriana has to offer. So that's what I have to say for Sagittarius this week. It's like this, it almost feels like it's like not about things actually manifesting so that you go, oh, I did this and I made this happen, as much as you start to connect that as you open up to spirit and knowing that you're being led, and not led because somebody else picked this plan. It's because you've worked together with spirit, created a game plan for this lifetime so you could experience the things of your heart and know you're being supported by spirit, and then stand as spirit's servant as you energetically walk your path. And when I say energetically, I mean trusting that it's a being energy that starts the manifestation, not a doing energy. What do I believe about myself? What is my attitude when I walk in? What is my confidence level? What is my demeanor? All right, let's go on to Capricorn. What does Spirit have to say for you this week? Excuse me. Oh. All right. All right. Our first angel is Caressa. The second is Rosetta. The third is Maya. And the final is Oceana. Okay. So my Capricorns, Caressa talks about being at the end of a life cycle and to call upon your guides and your angels to comfort you and guide you as a new happy chapter awaits you. Rosetta talks about having a gift for working with children, parenting, or teaching. I have Maya, who is my card of schooling and education. And then I have Oceana. Oceana says that I'm in touch with my truth and to lovingly assert myself. It feels to me like many of my Capricorns may be, when we talk about the end of a life cycle, it doesn't have to be anything dramatic. It doesn't necessarily mean a divorce or a death or the end of a job. It could be the end of an attitude or a bad habit or something that has felt distasteful or unpleasant or held you back in some way. Because when I look at this, that's what it feels like. It feels like it's an inside job somehow. It's something that I've been taking and carrying with me as a Capricorn, a belief about myself or about the world or a dynamic. And Rosetta lightens that. Rosetta gives me the opportunity to be more childlike in my viewpoint. And I learn something about that. That's what Maya teaches me, is as I get out of my grown-up body. And there's a lot of little kids running around in grown-up bodies these days, not being able to be, they've got a lot of responsibility at a young age, a lot of big dreams. So what I want to say is I feel like Capricorn's adopting a childlike demeanor about these shifts that you're going through. And then when Oceana says to lovingly take action, I think that's almost from a playful energy. It's almost like I want to say with Rosetta, when children when children behave, well, how do I want to put this? Because children are like little balloons. Sometimes they'll be running around and like have no consciousness of other people around them. But while that can be annoying to an adult, it's kind of cool in some respects to be able to be so engaged in whatever the moment is that you're experiencing that everything else is faded to black. I think that's a little bit of what Spirit's asking my caps this week, is to just kind of allow yourself to be in that moment, to really lovingly assert yourself into that space of of innocence. And I want to say this too. So I'm talking about, let's say it's a bad habit. Let's say it's you drink too much coffee, okay? And you really want to end that cycle. And so the child in you goes, I'd like to have hot chocolate. Well, let yourself have some hot chocolate. You know, do it a little different. So what if there's some sugar in it? Don't, I guess, Capricorn, I don't want you to be so harsh on yourself that you feel like you've got to conquer something. Take it in stages. Take it in shifts so you can get used to it. So I think you'll find some wins there. I don't know if that made any sense, but I'm going on. Here we go, Aquarius. Enjoy the week, Capricorn. I feel like you're going to do some health regime habits. It's weird. Sounds odd, but just feels like you might. I don't know, maybe the holidays. Just right before the holidays, you're going to want to clean up your act before you eat too much. I don't know. All right, Aquarius, what's up for you? You're off the eclipse access after January. It's going to be a little reprieve for you for quite some time, at least that way. All right. Our first angel is Vanessa. The second is Rosetta. The third is Ray. And the final is Sonia. Wow, this is interesting. So Vanessa always asks me to make my decisions based on faith instead of fear, on the things that I want that will bring me closer to what makes my heart sing and makes my heart feel good. Rosetta is my childlike innocence here with a collective. Ray is a card, talks about yoga and exercise. She's sitting in a meditative position. Her power comes from her power, right here, her sternum. It comes up through her third eye. It's flanked by her heart and the way she's speaking to herself. And then I have Sonia. I want to say this for my Aquarians. Sonia is the angel that says, that tells you that a deceased loved one is happy and well in heaven. I don't think that that's what this is about. To me, I think this is your guides that are with you, encouraging you this week to make your decisions based on the long-term gain, the long goal. What do you want to experience in your life? Not a Band-Aid. And because it takes faith and it takes courage to hold out for the things that we really want. And I think that that's where the childlike innocence comes in from Rosetta. That's your opportunity, okay? It's also your obstacle. Your obstacle is to put the grown-up away, or to put what you know about this reality that we live in and practicality and all that good stuff. Put it aside and then turn it over to Spirit. Because as you thank Spirit for giving you the eyes to see things, or give you a new lens, giving you a new experience, that will encourage and support and foster more faith in yourself. This is really an inside job this week too. It's digging down deep and saying, I almost feel like Aquarians might be at a little bit of a crossroads where they've been showing faith and being faithful towards an endeavor, and it hasn't actually showed any evidence of coming true. And now you're like, do I cut bait and run? And I think your spirit guides are saying, give it just a little bit more time. Give it a little bit more faith, and really examine what your focus is, Aquarius. Because if you've been getting worn down by the journey, then the wearing down can be contributing to the lack of manifestation. And I know that we're human beings. It's not always easy to have faith when there's no evidence that that faith is merited. But Sometimes when we're the most exhausted is right when we're just about to pop through and get where we want to go. All right, guys, let's go on to Pisces, our final sign. My little fish. Let me put my shirt back on. So cute. Oops. All right, Pisces, what is up for you? Mars is in your sign. So it's really taming Mars's energy right now, being there in Pisces. All right. Here we go. We have Opal, Rosetta, Ray, and Isaiah. All right, so we got both the children cards. Opal, it talks about your children being safe on heaven and earth and well cared for by God and the angels. As a collective, oftentimes I will see Opal as my dreams, as my desires, as my vulnerability, and knowing that because I never had children, um, physical children, so my children have always been animals or my dreams. And having Rosetta here and the opportunity, the obstacle, um, I kind of look at this and I'm saying to Pisces that your dreams, and potential real children, I don't want to say that physical bodies, don't count because of a collective, but for those of you that don't have children, I want you to count your dreams, your little fur babies, the things you want to experience on this world as your little children. Because Rosetta and Ray being together is like me giving spirit all of my innocence in trust and faith that if I want it, it'll be there. It's kind of like, this is kind of how I want to put it. Crazy sound. It's Christmas time. I want you to think of spirit, Pisces, as Santa Claus. And all you need to do is write out your wish list and send it off in the letter, give it to your mom and dad and send it off because spirit wants to start to fulfill your wish list. Because Isaiah is saying it's time to give birth to new ideas and new situations in your life, and they are here to guide and comfort you. But part of the job for you is to, as my little Pisces, don't be too grown up when you're writing your list. Sometimes, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but when you were little and you wrote your list to Santa Claus, you may be contemplating whether or not, it was even probable, possible. I happened to grow up in a family where money was not, growing on trees by any means. My mother adopted the idea that we should have birthdays every other year. So we only got one birthday party every 2 years if we were lucky. So when you're writing your list, don't get into practicality. When you're thinking about these things and you're turning over what it is you want to experience to spirit, this is no time to hold back. It's time to really, you got both the kid cards here. So this energy of innocence, of trusting that the world is a benign place, that my dreams can come true. Love is beautiful. People are kind. The world is a kind place. And it is getting better. It will. So I want to offer that to my Pisces this week because, again, this, for some reason, this does not feel like this is about jumping into physical action as it is much about really being aware of what my being energy is, what I am believing. And if for some reason I am in doubt or fear or trepidation or concern, then I want to say, thank you, Spirit, via a childlike innocence and going to Spirit through my third eye and saying thank you for giving me that confirmation I need so that I can be brave and move forward. And then they'll be there. Well, they're always there anyway. Sometimes we can't see them because we're too busy micromanaging them through our fears and our brains where our ego lives. Okay, guys, that's it for me this week. Again, I'm sorry about my schedule. Just weird stuff between banging and clanging and upstairs neighbors having issues and then leaks over here in the window. We'll just have to see what happens next week. But the plan is, and this is the funny thing, I'm beginning to think I should do these things on Mondays because Mondays has been the quietest day so far. But I'm going to shoot for Thursday again. And then next week, If anyone has a suggestion and wants to let me know what a day might work better for them, let me know. I'm here to serve. And if you'd like to book a private session with me, please feel free to go to my website or to give me a call. The website is www.terihunter.com. That's TERIHUNTER.com. And the phone number to call or text me is below in the information. And I'll see you next week, everybody. Enjoy this new moon and be sure to declare your intentions. Okay.